Good evening, everybody. We are 1 hour. We are 10 minutes late. You're welcome, everyone. Yes. Ati, we're online. Tell your friends and family we're online. Tell your friends and family Ati, we're online. If if you saw our last video. Okay. Yeah, so if you saw our last video, I'm sure you'd have noticed that we are telling you we want to solve certain problems for you, right? We have seen it, we have understood, we understand the problems, and we are well able to resolve these problems and help everyone who wants to own a home in Nigeria to own their own home. That's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about how to do it. We're going to be sharing our own unique experience. We are going to be telling you what you should look out for, so that when you want to build your own house, or when you have someone who is about to build and you see that they are missing certain steps, you can tell them, hey, come to Snag Inspectors people. They are able to build for you and build properly, build to standard, build excellently. That's what we are here for. So if you are just joining, you are in good it's a good time. You can please, of course, share the link. Let's have everyone join. Let's have as many of our friends and people here on this live on TikTok tonight. We're talking about how you can build, the process of building a home in Nigeria, the process of building a home in Nigeria in 2025. So I'd like to start with a question for those of you who are here. Have you ever been involved in a home building project before? Have you ever been involved in a project of construction of any kind? Project, church, a mosque, a family house. Have you ever been involved in any kind of construction project? How was your experience in that project? What was your experience like, and to what extent do you think you can handle a project? I mean, to what extent of success? What is the extent of success that you achieved with that project? If you've not seen the video that was posted today, I'll urge you to quickly watch that video before you return. Quickly watch that video, and then you can return to this live so that you understand the context of the conversation. We're saying that you need to have an excellent team. You'll notice from that video that there were different teams handling different things. Okay, we talked about fumigation. A lot of people don't know that you should fumigate your land while you are constructing. They don't know that you should spray weedicides and herbicides while you are constructing. You fumigate, especially when you are in a termite infested area. Okay, a lot of people someone has sent a DM. I was asking about steel, and I said, and now they understand. Oh, steel is because we use steel because that's our own standard generally, but primarily, I mean, in addition to that, we use that because there are termites in that particular location. We destroy termite hills before we even started the site preparation. So that is a significant factor in your project. So are you prepared for that particular thing? Are you prepared for those things when you are handling a construction project? These are the questions, these are the issues, as we normally say. So thank you, SGCP. Thank you very much. So please, let's discuss if you have also handled a project of your own. You can, of course, we can discuss some of the things that we've all experienced and encountered in the field. For those of us who are in the construction field, and for those of us who are the customers, we are here for you. We are able to work for you to achieve your project, okay, to achieve your project goals. I can tell you, for example, that if we did not fumigate that particular location, we have fumigated for termites. We have sprayed pesticides for termites at least 3 times. Now, if we did not do that, the issue of termites would have been very significant, especially when we're doing at every point where we use formwork, and we have used formwork at every stage. Even till now, there's formwork. Till the coping for the fence was done, till there's another coping for another small garden around there. There is another formwork for the flooring, and there's formwork still coming outside. If we did not fumigate at that time, we would have experienced issues. So again, these are basic things that one does while handling a construction project. So my question to us again is, what do you welcome to everyone who's joining. My question to us again is, how do we in our own way handle our projects? What is your experience with your own projects? Archie Roots, you're welcome. Ufom Ski, you are welcome. So how do we handle our construction projects to avoid issues? And we are sharing our own experience with you. We are telling you that we have solid teams. We have solid teams that handle multiple projects in multiple locations, and so we are a company capable of doing that. And we're explaining to you what our own process is. So let me just give you this. Again, this part of that project. So I talked about the fumigation. I also talked about this survey in the beginning from the video you saw. Please, if you've not seen the video, if you are just joining, please quickly watch our video, the last video, the latest video, and you see how we handled that project. It's a real life project, 1 year plus. The house is livable right now. And it's actually being occupied currently. We started, of course, with a surveyor. A lot of people start survey their buildings, right? A lot of people survey their buildings, but they are not able to. They survey their land, but they don't invite a surveyor when they want to build. So they survey the land when they are constructing, but they don't survey when they want to build. They don't know that the surveyor is important in construction. They don't know that the surveyor is important while they are constructing the building. That is an issue in itself. How do you have a project when the setting out is not done by a surveyor? The lines will be wrong. The building will be warped. The lines will not be straight. The surveyors are the ones that are meant to do this thing for you on the ground floor, first floor, up to the 10th floor, 50th floor, 100th floor if you have. These are things that we did in the beginning of the project that helped the project stay on track. There will be minor issues here and there. Obviously, there will be challenges in your project. We had minor challenges, but some of these things that we had done from the beginning saved us from extreme consequences. And these are the things we are talking about. So if you're just joining, you're welcome. Thank you to everyone who's just joining. Please watch the video that was just posted, and let's share our experience on how to build a proper home, how to build a proper building in Nigeria in 2025. And if you want to own your own home, we'll be very, very happy, of course, to work for you, to work with you to achieve that project. And we've talked about the fact that we fumigated. I mentioned that, and I'm emphasizing it because a lot of times you have people who have termite issues in their project, and it affects the entire project. They have timber for their formwork. You can ask a question. If it's out of context, maybe you should just type it and we'll figure out. So Faith, you can ask your question, yes. But you can ask a question. We may answer after. But you can drop your question. So as I was saying, we had that termite issue in that location. In some locations, it's soldier ants. There are so many soldier ants in that site. If you have many soldier ants on your site, for example, you need to find a solution to your soldier ants before the soldier ants exit you from the house or become a problem to you in that building. You need to use your pesticides properly, not in a way that damages the environment, in a manner that exterminates them and keeps your site sustained, right? So these are the things that we experienced in that project, and that's why we shared that video. So you can obviously please watch the video as I've said, and then you can see how we managed our own situation. So Faith, you can drop your question. Waiting for your question. If you don't want to drop it here, you can send a DM. So these are the things that we're talking about, and we're saying that building in 2025, we have to get better. We cannot be building the way we have been building in Nigeria consistently. We have to get better. Okay, container homes trend. All right, I will see to that much later. We'll discuss that much later, but thank you for the question. It's quite a good question. So I've pinned it so that I can come back to it much later. But container homes have context where they are useful for. Container homes have places where they are useful, but of course, you know, it's usually much better. Sometimes when people are talking about innovations, some innovations we are not yet ready for. Some innovations are not yet. It's not yet ripe. We are not yet ripe for some of those innovations. All right. Wow. Bond, not James. We'll be happy to have you if you are able to stay. Thank you for passing by. I assume he's passing by. Yeah, he was passing by, but thank you for passing by. I want to show us some clips. That's why I'm trying to set up my screen. But as I was saying, we are talking about how we build right now. Thank you. How we build proper. You have the TikTok link. What I used to be? I said Instagram. Yeah, Instagram. Yes, thank you. Yes. All right. So I'll be sharing. So this is the video we're talking about, and we add the entire process. This is not obviously not the entire process of construction, but we're just showing you part of what we went through in managing this particular project, right? And we're saying that all of these things. So for example, this portion, your what do you call it, your marine board or anything you use for your formwork, if we did not take charge of that site by fumigating, exterminating the termites, we would definitely have run into issues with termites, because there was a point where we had we used formwork cumulatively for about 3 months on the main structure, and then if you add the other time, the smaller parts where formwork was engaged, we used a bit more than that. So we're saying that all of the formwork did not experience a single issue with termites because we made provision for that. We also talk about this roofing. So I'm taking it in no particular order, if you do not mind. We also talk about roofing. Now, again, this is also partly because of the termites, partly because of sustainability, and so many other things. There are many factors, of course, that you think of when you are handling a project. The termites damage roofs, right? We all know this. Of course, one of the reasons why that happens is because people don't have a concrete roof beam, they don't have damp proofing, but you have to assume the worst. What if they climb through the walls? What if you do everything and they climb the walls? So one of the reasons why we have this is because of the termites. Now, there is no termite that would eat steel, right? Termites will not eat concrete, they will not eat steel, they will not eat paint. What do they feed on? They feed on your roof, on your wood. They feed on timber. The termites feed on timber. And what this roof has done is to say, not me, you're not going to eat me. All right. So when you are handling your project, that is something. SGCP, you are welcome back again. You've been visiting us and going back. Maybe I'm guessing you have calls or something, but thank you very much. So we're talking about the construction process, and then we're talking about this and of course some of the many things that we did on this project. Some of the things, of course, we did not list, but some of those things we had to list. Now, the issue of POP, for example, a lot of people have had POP falling in their houses recently, which again is quite strange considering that we didn't just start using POP in Nigeria this year, but the last 2 to 3 years, we've had a number of videos of POP falling, and most of them are a result of poor supervision and use of inferior materials. Poor supervision, use of inferior materials, and you are unable to properly hold your POP in place. Of course, POP is not the only material. There's gypsum board, as you can see here. This is gypsum board. There's cement board. Okay, this is actually cement board. It's what we use outside. Gypsum board is what we use inside, because of driving rain, moisture, temperature, and all of that. Now, what we're saying is that this makes a difference. The gypsum board makes a difference. Cement board makes a difference, right? And that is what we're saying. And so what we're saying, of course, is that, all of these elements there is a system, and there is the amount of supervision that you put in that allows you to be able to not see those problems. The roof, the issue of your ceiling falling. When you, let me give you a very simple example from this particular project. So at the foundation trenching stage, we had a very interesting scenario. At some point, we had to switch a particular, because the customer, of course, after design, certain things usually change. Now, the customer made a request that we change the location of a particular room. Now, in changing the position of that particular room, the foundation structure changed. In fact, the structural drawing changed. We had to pause for a while to review the structural drawing and review all of that. All of those elements, and of course, before we now began to pour concrete and do all of those things. Now, what I'm saying is that some of these changes were possible because we already brought in our surveyor to do the line. So it was basically that you had drawn, let's just say you've drawn this line with a ruler, so you are going to simply project and change the route, because that was done by a surveyor. If not, it would have been a lot of guesswork. All these lines that you're seeing that are straight. And if you can check our YouTube video, you would see more of that. You would not have seen those straight lines. You would have seen a lot of wobbly lines and all of that. Oluwatobi, owning a home with $20,000. Yes, we are going to discuss, if we've been talking about this over the last 9-10 weeks, and we're going to be talking about that as well today. So a $20,000 home is obviously what we're talking about here. This building is close to $750,000. Close to, actually, not exactly. So this is not in that context, but we are definitely able to achieve a $20,000 home. So if able to stick to the end, we'll talk about that, Mr. Oluwatobi. But thank you very much for raising that. So as I was saying, these elements change over time. Another simple example where planning helps you to achieve excellence. So in this particular building, initially we thought, oh, the foundation is not good. We said we're going to take the house to 1.2 meters above road level, because of course you don't want water flowing back, proper ramp and all of that. But at some point we realized that we would need to, we got to that 1.2, but we then realized that the topography of the soil, it looked flat, but it had a bit of slope towards the left hand side. So even though it was relatively level on the right hand side of the plot, the left hand side was really, really deep. Yes, you can check our YouTube video, Mr. Oluwatobi. We have a couple of YouTube videos on this subject already. You can just check Snag Inspector at YouTube, and then you'd see some of those videos. So as I was saying, we realized that we had estimated about 20 to 40 trips of laterite, but we ended up doing, actually I was wrong, we didn't do 80 trips. We ended up doing about 110 trips of laterite. See that from 40 that was estimated to 120, that's an additional 70 something trips of laterite. We just kept on pouring laterite. We compacted, we poured, we compacted. After doing we just kept buying laterite, just to make sure that the house is the house itself is 1.8 meters above the natural ground level, this road level, while the compound itself is 1.2 meters above the compound level. So we achieved that, and of course you can imagine how much sand, and of course we kept compacting. So we ended up doing 110 trips of 40 tons. I think it's 40-ton truck. Yeah. So these are the things that you see when you are building. Please, if you have questions, thank you to everyone who is joining. Adedoyin that wants to greet me, that wanted to beat me. Good evening and welcome. So if you have questions, of course, you don't show, you are welcome, as far as you are nice. Adedoyin is one of the, so tomorrow, I promise you, the video tomorrow will be for, it's not going to talk about Obafemi Awolowo University, but we're going to talk about Obafemi Awolowo University, and you may not like the video, you will not like the video, unfortunately. But thank you very much for joining. So as we're saying, we'll talk about OAU very soon. So as we're saying, a lot of things change while you are handling a project, while you are building that home. Let me give you, so look at this borehole. When you drilling the borehole, well, this one did not give us so many issues, but initially the water was just white for a long time, and then anyway that one eventually cleared out. But anyway, as I was saying, I was talking about the sand, and I said we ended up using 110 trucks, 40-ton trucks. We were supposed to use 3,000 blocks for the foundation. I hope you guys are hearing the numbers, and you can watch the full video on YouTube so you see the justification. 110 trucks. We were supposed to use 3,000 blocks for the foundation. We ended up using over 4,800, or approximately 4,800 blocks for the foundation. These are things that nobody talks about. Now, if we wanted to sell this house and we said, oh, this house, we're going to sell it for $1 million, somebody will say, okay, let me not make noise. Somebody will come and shout and say, oh, houses are too expensive in Nigeria. But he doesn't know that at the foundation, we have already buried 100 trucks of sand. You do the calculation yourself. Laterite is around 80,000 naira. We didn't use sharp sand because we're trying to save cost, right? Laterite is up times 110 trucks. You do the math yourself. That is just on sand filling. 4,500 blocks. Multiply it by 5. I think blocks are 800 naira or 600 naira, depending on the quality that you are getting. You do the math. We have not talked about labor. We have not talked about all the other essence. And you are telling me that houses are expensive in Nigeria. Talk to your government. Don't talk to the developers. All right. Of course, we also make videos where we talk about the quality of the work you are doing for. So if you are doing low quality, yes, it is overpriced. But if you are doing the commensurate quality for the money, it is not priced. Yes, they don't do calculations. They've never made any calculations in their videos. He and his friends, because there are a couple of them, but they don't make calculations. If you've not done the calculations, you cannot tell me the house is overpriced. How did you arrive at that? This is a real life experience. This is a real life experience. How much is the cement? This clip we are showing, how much is the cement? How much is a bag of cement to plaster this house? We plastered approximately 2,200 square meters of wall area. Approximately 2,000 square meters of wall area. Calculate the amount of cement, the amount of sharp sand, and the labor. Plastering alone, close to 11 to 12 million naira gone just to plaster. Just to plaster. You are still going to screed. You are still going to do. In fact, there's an amount of wall preparation you do in some cases before, but we didn't have to do that anyway. We didn't have to do that. But in some cases, in some locations, there is a mesh you put. There are wall preparations you do. So these are the things we are talking about. These are the issues. So again, our own goal for us is, for those who want to build custom homes, you need to understand the process. If you want to build a custom, we did pressure testing on around, we have we did pressure testing on about 16 faucets. That's toilets, 16 plumbing areas, toilets, kitchens, and water wet areas, 16 wet areas in the house. Yes, we reached our time. Things now became costly because there was a time when all of these things were much cheaper. But it is well, God will help us. We reach our time now. Things just cost like that. Abia doing that. Now so we see them. You do pressure testing, and this takes time. This doesn't just take days. This takes time. All right, look at the thickness of the plaster. I don't know if you are able to watch the video I posted today and see the thickness of the plaster. We are not talking about. So these are the things that you now know whether this person is cheating you and doing low quality for you. If the person is doing light plaster, you can say, oh, it's low quality. But if somebody is doing high quality work for you and charging the commensurate price, and you are seeing the work, you cannot tell me that the person is cheating you. You cannot tell me the house is overpriced. An entire team of engineers. This project had over 22. I mean professionals. I'm not talking about the workers. At least 7 architects involved in the project. 7 architects, including myself. 7 architects. We have an interior architect. We have a quality control architect. We have a landscape architect. We have a furniture. Well, let me just add that to the interior. But then we have the main drafting architect. They are all master's students, by the way. Apart from one person that is just a fresh graduate. Every other person is a master's student and a full-time licensed architect. We have 2 full-time licensed architects, and then another qualified architect, and others who are at master's level. We have 5 architects. There's somebody else. I'm trying to remember. And then we had 3 builders. We had 3 builders. We had structural engineer, of course. MEP engineer. We had MEP engineers. We had 2 different engineers that came at the foundation stage and at the floor slab, suspended floor stage. These are the people that handle this project. So people did not just wake up and say, Mr. A is the engineer. This is another thing we need to correct. A lot of Nigerians just get one person, one man. They'll say, my site has an engineer. Is that person that will be telling you the color to paint the house? Is that person that will tell you how deep your foundation will be? Is that person that will tell you how the plumbing will be done? Is that person that will tell you how the electrical will be done? You will have problem. You must have problem. I didn't study engineering. I'm an architect by training. I have about 50. Well, that's quite long. I have actually about 10 years. I'm just realizing I'm not a young man anymore. I have about 10 years post-master's training, experience rather, in architecture. So I'm an architect, not an engineer. So where was I? So I was saying that we have a full team. We have an electrical consultant and we have an electrical engineer. Hope you understand. That means somebody is doing the work and somebody is supervising his work. And so when there are issues, these 2 of them will tell them, you people come and answer to this. And of course, when there are things to say, and of course, most of the times there are no issues because there is a methodical approach to work. These guys you are seeing here, they are not just playing. These were 3 structural engineers because of this particular isolated column. Because the isolated column alone is about 10 million naira. This column, you can look at, you can watch the video again and just zoom in and see how many 12 mm, 20, I said 12 mm. The stirrups are 12 mm. Some of the stirrups, so at the bottom, you have 14, is it 16 mm? Yes, we'll still fight. Just be watching. When we post OA, you will fight. I won't tell you my address. So, all of these things, we have one of the plumbing technicians is right here with me, for example. Oh, okay. Please, key. Please give me a second. So one of the plumbing technicians was just stepped into the room with me now, and it's not only one plumbing technician. He's supervised by an engineer, not supervised by an architect. You cannot say an architect should be supervising a plumber. You cannot say an architect should be supervising an engineer. These are the reasons why we have issues in projects. Because a lot of times you want one person to do you want to build a quote unquote luxury house, and then you want only one man to supervise the entire thing. You want a civil engineer. Someone said yes, good. Okay, say you read civil engineering. What tips can I give in construction? So yeah, I'm giving the tips. It's teamwork. Primarily, it's teamwork. That's what we're trying to say. It is teamwork. It's not one. We have a landscape architect. Yes, I remember. I don't want to mention it, but that man's son is part. So we have a landscape, an horticulturist, but he has a landscape architect in his own team. So that's two of them. They're on site today. So we are planting a wonderful garden. When the garden is done, you people will see. You want to come there, but we'll not allow you enter the estate. So we are. This is how you build. It's not a one-man business. It's not that you put one man on site. Imagine we put only this person on site. He's an engineer. He knows his work. But once it comes to beautification, there will be issues. So you said, do we really have to spend all day under the sun for experience? No, it's not about the time so it is strategic work. So there are days when I am on site all day, and there are days when I'm not on site, but my quantity surveyor is on site because it is his own time to be on site. It is his own work to be on site. There are days it is a quality control architect. Of course, the quality control people tend to be on site more than every other person. You have a consultant architect that probably just comes in once in a week, and as the project gets to a point, the person doesn't even come more than once in a month. Okay, so you don't load your site with. You don't overwork yourself. It's very important to have the balance in that. Anyway, so just want to point that out to us so that we all understand. All these tools, for example, how many of us use all of these tools while we're working, and then we say the lines are not straight? Okay, so we have our team fully kitted, fully what do you call it? Fully equipped with all of these, and these are the things that make the difference. These are the things that make the difference. All right. So thank you to everyone who is joining. Again, like I said, if you are new here, you can watch this afternoon's video on TikTok or Instagram. Then there's another video on YouTube that is an elongated version of this particular project. Just check Snag Inspector on YouTube and you see that entire project. You see the scale. It's about 40 meters, about 38, well, almost 40 meters long, and about 28 meters wide. That's how big the building is. Okay, so you have an idea of why we're saying it cost almost $750,000. But we're saying, of course, not everybody is going to build a house like this. We know that not everybody is going to build a house like this. You said, I feel you in some projects I assisted on, it's just one engineer. Yes, once it is one engineer running it, there will be errors. And it's not because the engineer is a bad person. It's not because the engineer doesn't want the project to succeed. It's not because he's proud or whatever. It's because you have overwhelmed that person. That engineer is the one that is going to buy materials. No, you should have a procurement person on site, different from the site manager or site supervisor, or whatever English nomenclature you choose to give the person. You should have so you have an entire team working on a project. You don't just, it's not a one-man show. Once it becomes a one-man show, there will be avoidable errors. Even when you have a full team, there's a popular project in the United States of America that right now is likely to be demolished, over $12 billion. Why? Because the surveyors made a minor mistake and now the building is tilting. And nobody can stand there because the building is sloping like this. Once you put a ball, it just rolls. And there's no way they can counterbalance that weight. That is where they are doing full project. Everybody is working together. One minor mistake and that building is gone. It is a waste already. Over, I think it's 12 billion. I will try and check it up. You can just check it out. Abandoned Leaning Building in New York. That is where there is full project. Not to talk of one man trying to build an entire state. There must be problems. It's not that we are praying. There will be problems because that is not the way we are meant to work. We are meant to work as teams. As a matter of fact, your quantity projects, you would have key quantity surveyor who will be the cost manager, and then you have procurement managers, maybe 2 procurement managers who will manage. So someone will be in the market and someone will be on site. Someone will be a store manager as a quantity surveyor, managing the stock on site. So that's 4 quantity surveyors in some projects, depending on the scale, of course. It is like this in our construction industry in some cases, Mr. Heaven. It is like this in some projects, in some companies. In our company, that is how it is. You will never get to a day on site, except we have a site meeting. You never get to a day on site where everybody's on site. And you also never get to a day on site where there's nobody on site. It means that there is proper division, proper distribution, or proper management of human resource. Because once you have 10 bosses, there's a problem. Once you have only one person, yes, there's one person in terms of maybe the MD or the project manager, yes, but in terms of the work, there has to be somebody to answer for everything. Somebody to answer for electrical, somebody to answer for plumbing, somebody to answer for, if it is a building that has air conditioning and we call it LEV, elevators and all of those things. Somebody to answer for that. Somebody to answer for structural issues. Someone to answer for decorative issues, and so on and so forth. These are the ways that you keep your project, you achieve your project goals. Okay. So that's how. We are. So we are based. We have our head office in Lagos. We also have an office in Abeokuta and in Abuja, and we are able to build in other parts of Nigeria. So yes, as a matter of fact, we have projects currently we are working on in Osun and Abuja, and of course some of those, if we have the chance, we will share with you. And of course, we are able to build outside Nigeria, even in Liberia. I once while I was in my training process, I was able to work on projects outside Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, and so when recently someone invited us and said, oh, they would like us to build in Liberia, I said that's not a problem. We have, by God's grace, we have all of the network. We know how to get all of the work done. I mean, in terms of team building and all of that, and your work can be done. So getting in and getting things done across the country is not a problem. Okay. What part of Abuja? We can discuss via the DM, Mr. SGCP. But somewhere around Airport Road is where it is we are operating in Abuja. Is it possible to intern? For now, we are not taking interns, but we do have a project coming up somewhere, and I cannot disclose that, but once that project comes up, we can have people on the team, yes, but we don't have space for interns at the moment. Thank you, Mommy TP. She's asking you all to please help us. Please tap and let's grow. Thank you very much, ma'am. So we are saying again that when you have a project, you work as a team. It's not one man. And I'm saying this to even those of you who are, sorry. Okay, Adedoyin is still here. I just saw Adedoyin's name. So I'm saying that this is the way that you avoid errors. So some of these projects where we see people feel, oh, there's a line that is not straight, or it is not because those people had bad intentions or that they are not qualified or competent. But when you have the engineer doing the architect's job, imagine your civil engineer telling you the color to use in your house. It will not be nice. Thank you, Power. Thank you, Adedoyin. Imagine you have your structural engineer doing the electrician's work, telling the electrician how to do his work. Yes, he may use experience and say he's supposed to be like this, but at some point he will make mistakes. He will give the wrong instruction. All right. Oh! Someone has sent me a gift, and I want to make noise. Thank you very, very much. I don't know how to get this effect. What happened? I used it last week. Anyway, thank you. I can't. Oh yeah, I found it. Yes. Thank you very much. Hand heart. Sorry, I'm a bushman when it comes to some of these TikTok things, but thank you very much. Okay, then there's something I want to quickly talk about. One influencer, Mr. Folajomi, you may have seen his video 3 days ago where he talked about this thing that is going on here, an earth pit. And someone said, oh, that way. He said, look, man, I only know architecture and construction. No. So this thing, a lot of, if you have a proper project, I'm not talking about bush project, I mean proper project, you will see people doing this in that building. They are going to be digging into the earth. The video will play over again and it will get to that point. They will dig into the earth. They would pour in some of those, I don't know the name, because again, like you see, I'm an architect. I don't try to interrupt the engineer when he's doing his work. I only, of course, follow up with the work. But they dig into the earth, and then they pour some nitrates and salt, I think carbon, whatever, and they pour it into the ground. And someone saw that video. So please, if you are able to watch that video again, you see that part of the clip. I will pause it when we get to that point, just in a few seconds. And when somebody saw that in that video that Mr. Folajomi made, the person said they were conducting rituals on his site, that they were burying something in his site. And he said, yeah, this is it. They pour this thing, and then they put basically what this whole thing is to keep electric shock from happening to you. Now, many of you have had houses and you've seen some of our videos. Many of you live in houses. Me too, I've lived in such a house where once you plug your fridge and you cannot wear your slippers to your fridge. I mean, you cannot go to your fridge without wearing slippers because your body will conduct the rest of the electricity. Your body will conduct the rest of the electricity. CODO, and I will allow you to join us if you have something to say, but please mute your mic for the moment.
Hello.
Yes, please mute your mic.
Me, I should mute my mic. Am I making noise?
Okay.
Abu.
Please give me a second. I will have to. Yeah, I've muted. Okay, so I think it's not a Sorry, this is not one of those. This is not for context. I didn't know that's what you. So we are not doing context. That. Thank you. We are not doing that. There's no match here, so I will be withdrawing now. That's not what this TikTok is. I thought you wanted to ask questions. That's why I added you. Okay, so sorry about that. Kindly terminate. Thank you. So as we were saying, people were laughing at me. You are laughing at me. I've terminated it. I've terminated it because I'm not doing that. That's not what our live is for. That's not what our TikTok live is for. I thought he was coming with a question or something. Anyway, so as I was saying, we are hope you can all hear me. Please indicate that you can hear me. So as we're saying that this, so if you have questions, you can just type out. All right. You are laughing at me. So this thing that you pour into the ground, it's to make sure that your house does not shock you. All right, because a lot of times, I'm saying this in the simplest term. Yes, you have to do one in your apartment. Yes, you dig out the earth, copper rods. Thank you very much. Copper rods. Then there's this thing. I've forgotten what it's called. It's dung. Yes, it's animal dung. Then there's also one nitrate or whatever it is. And before you know that, thank you very much, Mr. Teva. So thank you so much. So once you do that, you are able to, it grounds the electricity. What it basically does is, once lightning strikes in your area, the lightning that is supposed to there are two types. There's one that just earths the entire house, and there's one that receives the lightning arrestor. This particular one is for the arrestor. This particular one in this video is for the arrestor. What one does is that when there's lightning in your house, other than for your house to conduct the electricity, because of course lightning is electric charges, and then it goes into your fridge and spoils things, which used to happen in the past. I'm sure some of us grew up in some of those houses where once it's raining, we quickly put off our lights and put off everything. You don't have that situation in this particular instance. And then there's the earthing that you just do, as he has said, as Adedoyin has said. That one takes all of the earth on your house and it directs it into the ground. Both of them, the point is that the electricity for the earth enters into the ground. In simple English, the electricity does not enter your body. It does not enter, like my brother now, that his laptop was shocking him. Your own laptop should not I've also had that situation. My laptop was shocking. Everything. I had to hold I had to always wear slippers while using laptop, not so this is a basic thing, but not many people will abide by it. Now, if you saw our video 2 days ago, this particular video, this is also another critical thing that you can avoid when you have a proper team in like I was managing your construction. So you see this leaning house. The house is leaning, and then you are wondering, why is this house leaning? How did they manage to make this mistake? They did not make the mistake at once. They made a series of mistakes. The first mistake is they didn't do soil test. I'm very sure they didn't do a soil test, because if they did a soil test, they would have been told that for the weight of this building, you need to have a cellular raft, you need to have a regular raft foundation, or whatever type of foundation. They would explain to you in that your soil test that this is the type of foundation you need. In that same soil, after that, your structural engineer would design using the parameters in the soil test to design your foundation. It is after that is done, or after that has been done rather, that you can move to the stage of flooring and doing all of those things. All what you people call German floor. It's not called German floor, it's oversight concrete, but Nigerians call it German floor for whatever reason. Exactly. Once the foundation is destroyed, my brother, as righteous as you are, there's nothing you can do. So this particular house is gone. Money gone. There is nothing they can do. There are absolutely nothing they can do. There is no hope, because they did not do a soil test. How much is soil test for this small land? Maybe 360 to 460, or even 500,000 naira. 500,000 naira plus structural drawing will cost them maybe 1.2 million naira, or if they find a cheap person, maybe 600, 700,000 naira. That would have saved them this, because if they built according to that, they would not experience this at all. So these are the things to learn, and this is why we need Snag Inspector Lawyer to build for you. Okay, now we've been talking about our own affordable home, because of course not everybody can build a $600,000 home. Not everybody can build a $1 million home, right? But that $1 million home, if you have that $1 million broken down into 100 places, if you have that $1 million broken down into 100 places, for example, that gives you 10. Wait, no, that's not. You cannot build a house with that amount. So let's break it down into. Those who know math here, please let me do the math. 1 million to $20,000 is what? That's five. That's 50 persons. Yes, 50 divided by 1 million is $20,000, right? Yeah. So that $1 million divided by 50 will give you $20,000. If you use that amount, $1 million converts to USD is almost 1.8 billion naira. It would build you at least 4 blocks, 3 to 4 or 5 blocks of flats, where you can then get 20,000. You can then get 50 apartments, and then you can get 20,000 naira, $20,000 homes. That's about 35 million naira each. Whereas one person, of course, who is rich enough can own that entire, can use that to just build a duplex for himself. So what? Yes, thank you very much. So $20,000, you can, with $20,000, you can own a home when you are sharing land. For example, you are sharing on that same plot of land. You have built on maybe a plot of land that is like 6 million naira somewhere in Mowe, for example. You have built a block of 8 flats. I'll show you one of our own projects which is coming up. Give me a second. I will quickly open that project of ours for you now. Where is that folder? Give me a second. So this is the structural drawing for that project, but I'll be opening desktop download. So please give me a second. I just want to show us one of those projects that we are already working on, and we're saying that if you are able to do a 2-bedroom house at that price, you are able to save money rather than putting all your eggs in one basket, going to buy your own land, going to do all of that. Somebody has already gotten the approval for you. Somebody has already, okay, this is it. Somebody has already gone. No, this is not it. Sorry. Somebody has already gone to get the approval for you. Somebody has already gone to do all of the difficult part of the work for you. And all you have to do is to get a flat in such a location. All right, this is it. Okay, please permit me. I cannot immediately find the full drawing. There's a, apparently I have a lot I have a lot of drawings, as you would expect. So I have, the drawings have overlapped. But I will definitely open that. I'll open that folder up. So please just give me some seconds and I'll open that folder for us. But anyway, the summary is that you are able to save money rather than buying your own land to build your own house. You are now sharing that, and in sharing that you can get affordable, and that's one of the major things that a lot of us have not been able to achieve. So at our young age, I don't know how many people here are over 40. This Mr. Adedoyin, I'm going to drag you. Don't worry. I'm going to drag you and Obafemi Awolowo University together. So in doing this, I have to download this. I would have to download the drawing again. But anyway, this is the structural drawing for that particular project. So we're already working on all of the technical requirements. But in summary, the goal is that if you cannot build your own quote unquote what we call luxury house in Nigeria, because everybody claims to be building luxury in Nigeria today. If you are not able to build that luxury home of your own, you should be able to share and build together with other people. All right. This is, yeah, so let's get back to that video. So anyway, I'll be sharing that with us in time to come. So we're saying that if you are able to rather than building, struggling and sweating, which is what a lot of people do, to go and buy land. Now, a lot of us are buying land in Ekpe and all of those places, and it's not bad. In itself, it's not a problem. You are buying land in Ekpe or buying land in, where are the places where people are buying land in Beju, or buying land in Shimawa along the expressway because you want to own your own real estate, which is a really noble intention, and it's nice. It's a nice to have. But the question now is, are you able to manage that? Are you able to manage all of the costs? Can you afford a structural engineer? Can you afford a mechanical engineer for your house so that they will manage your air conditioning for you, so that your AC will not be shocking you, so that your laptop will not be shocking you? Or you are going to call Boda Kunle and Uncle Chineze to come and help you to do your house. Can you afford to fumigate? Do you know what it costs us? Let me give you a random number. It costs us at least 400,000 naira to fumigate this house at multiple times. Can you afford just 400,000 naira to fumigate your site? That 400,000 naira, when they tell you, you say, and that's the money I'll go and use to buy how many blocks. Not everybody can afford it. I'm not saying you cannot afford it, but not everybody can afford it. This roofing, for example, is close to 35 million naira. Now the question is, how many people can roof their houses with 35 million naira in Nigeria today? You go and check it. I'll just ask a random roofer how much they do light gauge steel roof in Nigeria. How many people can afford 35, 28, 30, 40 million naira to roof their house alone? That's the cost of somebody else's house now. But imagine you do a block of flats and this is the roof on top of that house, divided by 10 residents. That's 3.5 million naira per person. That is a bit easier to afford. So these are the things we are talking about. All right. So please, if you have questions, I've been talking for 1 hour. That is my scheduled time. So I'm open to your questions right now. I'm open to take your questions, your specific questions to your own projects and questions relating to shared home ownership, which we have been talking about. Yes, Faith, you can ask your questions, sir. You can ask your question if you have any. Please, let's ask our questions while I'll show you one of those projects that we have. Yes, please, your name is My Daddy's Dad. Okay, Mr. My Daddy's Dad. That's quite an interesting profile name. Please ask your question. Free to ask. Okay, yes, so about containers. Okay, this is a good time to answer the container question. So I would say again that we don't, in simple terms, container construction is a highly skilled thing. So you need to have a properly trained welder. You need to have steel fabricators. I mean, people that will fabricate, because it's not just you are going to need to fabricate around the windows, the doors, and all of those things. You are going to need insulation technicians, people that will insulate, because your container is going to make your house hot. So you are going to need insulation technicians. It is the laborers that will work for you, you are going to sweat before you find them. So it is very, very labor intensive, and it's very, very specialized in terms of labor, and so that will make it very expensive. Thank you very much, Adedoyin, for that. It's going to make it very expensive, because you don't have in Nigeria right now. I can tell you there are some professions in Nigeria we don't have up to 300 people in the whole of Nigeria. The quality welders, I don't mean Boda Kazim, I mean quality welders in Nigeria right now, I doubt if we have up to 1,000, and those 1,000 will be working in the oil sector, they will be working in automotive industry, I mean working with proper companies, Dangote and the likes. So container housing is a no-no. We are not prepared as a country for it. Even the industrialized countries that have all of these labor skills in abundance, they are struggling with some of these things. So in summary, we are not prepared for container housing in Nigeria or any form of steel housing in Nigeria. The roof that I showed you, I can boldly tell you that there are only 3 companies that how do I put it? Let me just, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but there are only 3 companies that use it to build, in simple terms, like in terms of the companies that's their primary forte and that train workers. There's Nigerite, and I'm not going to mention the other names. Now, out of those 3 companies, they all know each other. I can tell you, they all know each other. That's to tell you how small it is. The people that do that steel roof that we did for that house, they all know each other. You can count on fingers the people that work for the company in Oshodi. There's one of them in Oshodi. There's one of them in Ikeja. There's another one. So I'm just letting you know that it is very, very expensive. The laborer is not easy to find. Okay, so we are not ready for it. I inherited a piece of land from my grandparents. What documents do I need and how do I get them? All right. So if you inherited land, we have a lawyer, so please send me a DM and I'll let him handle that question. We discussed something on land last week Friday, and I think 2 weeks ago as well, but last week Friday and Sunday on land on Instagram and on TikTok. So please send us a DM. We'll link you with our lawyer, and then those issues would be easily resolved. All right, so if you have any further questions, guys, please now is the time to ask your questions. Thank you very much.
Please, that juice drawing. How can you have juice drawing?
All right. So if you have any further questions, please let me hear your questions before we close for this evening. We have spoken intensely about how to achieve. So we have spoken intensely about how to achieve affordable homes, and we have said that the best way to get affordable homes is by shared ownership, and that is a global phenomenon. It's not just Nigeria. Okay, so when you build vertically, you've seen that I've made videos like this before on this subject, and I'm going to be sharing just one of those images. This is what the government of Lagos State has done in a few places, and it is only when you are able to, it's when you share, when you share land, and then you share all of the manpower, all of these factors of production, as it were, that I have discussed. It is when you share them that you're able to get. So this is Lagos Homes Project. Some of you have seen these buildings if you live in Lagos State. I say Lagos. If you live in Lagos State, you'd have seen buildings that look like this. And the only reason, so they are on 4 floors, and then there are multiple like this, and this is what we are organizing, and we'll be sharing that with you in some of, yes, you can watch some of our previous videos on our YouTube page. So youtube.com/Snag Inspector. You see some of those videos, some of the longer videos of our live sessions. Okay, so you've seen homes like this Lagos State government has built, and so it is when you build homes like this that people can afford $20,000 homes, which are roughly 30 to 40 million naira in today's naira, which aligns with what the National Housing Fund provides for housing loans. Okay, so I'm just saying, I'm not saying that we're doing anything with them, but that this is the price band that the government of Nigeria recognizes for affordable homes. So we're saying that this is how you can save that cost. So rather than spending, this whole house, this full house that you are seeing, this one of those blocks can actually build one of those quote unquote luxury homes, 1 billion naira home, 1.5 billion, 2 billion naira, depending on the whatever they call it. But 10 people coming together would then build this, and then you own your own home. This is how we can own our own individual homes when we are not yet at that financial stage where you can say, oh, I want to own my own palatial residence in whatever part of Nigeria you choose to build it. Okay, so this is how the government of Lagos does it right now, and this is how we can also do it. Okay, and that's why we've constantly talked about joining Rainy Day Cooperative Society. So you can send us a DM, you learn how, and then when that project is rolled out, you will be able to benefit because there are tax benefits and there are so many other incentives. We talked about this last week, and we will talk about it again next week. I'll be sharing some of those incentives with all of us so that we can see a way to own our own homes, especially those of us who are much younger and we're looking to own assets, land, because I usually tell people, yes, it's not bad to buy land. Buying land is actually fine, but you have to add value to that property, and this is how to do it. So if there are no further questions, we will urge you to return to our Instagram page, our YouTube page for some of our other videos, and we'll be happy to take many more questions directly via DM if that is the case. So if you have any further questions, please let us know in the next 1 minute. If you do not, we will be bringing this to a close. And remember that we are available on Instagram on Sunday evening at 8 p.m. on Sunday. We will also continue this. So this is 360 units. Yes, $20,000 is doable. $20,000 Ada, it is doable. This is Lagos, the government of Lagos State. Every public housing, we've done the calculations, and we've also managed similar work in the past. So we are speaking both from experience and from technical calculations. This is a block of houses built by the Fashola administration, but completed by Sanwo-Olu. The number, when you calculate it, is around 20,000. When you check the houses built in 2007 as well, check their dollar price with the exchange rate at the time. $20,000 is the price band. So the only thing that may be fighting against home ownership for a lot of Nigerians right now may be the exchange rate. So we'll pray about the exchange rate. How can salary earners do it? Salary earners, there are provisions for split payment, but obviously salary earners may need to reach out to certain other financial instruments that they may already have in terms of savings to achieve such to achieve home ownership like that. Because, for example, the Lagos State government has a system by which they sell their homes, and there are other companies that also sell these kinds of similar homes. This is actually being done in Lagos right now by a number. So we are not talking about something new. We're talking about something that already exists. And yes, so there are payment methods that can be achieved, that can be used to achieve that. But this is the practical price band for affordable homes. Thank you very much to everyone. Thank you to everyone for joining. Madam Landlady, you are here, but I'm sure you are passing by. Thank you for joining. If you are able, you can join us on Sunday on Instagram at 8 p.m. and we'll continue this conversation. Tomorrow we'll be posting about your universities. I'll not tell you the school we'll be talking about, but please just be yes, Madam Landlady, thank you. Be on the lookout for tomorrow's posts, and we'll keep on educating and we'll keep on sharing what we know about property ownership and excellence in construction in Nigeria. And let's hope that everyone who can watch is watching and things get better. All right, so that will be all for this evening. Thank you to everyone for being a part of this live session. Have a blessed evening. Good night.